Hello and welcome to episode 29 of the All Things Leeds podcast with myself, Ed McIntyre, and sat opposite me is, as always, my co-host, Charles Foster. How are you, Charles?
Yeah, I'm doing well, mate. The weather's a bit kind of bad the last couple of days, but still enjoying it.
Yeah, good week?
Yeah, pretty good.
Nice.
Yourself?
Yeah, not bad. The result of a weekend didn't really make me too happy, but result midweek though, that was very nice watching. We are also joined in the studio though by big Leeds United fan, co-host of the LS11 Podcast and member of rock band the Pigeon Detectives. It is Ryan Wilson. Morning, Ryan.
Good morning.
How are you?
All right, this is a bit late for me.
Yeah.
I'm normally used to recording at 7:30 in the morning, and it's nearly 8:30. So
yeah.
So
you young whippersnappers, you need to get
we
up
record
early.
about 9 or 10. Usually.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're much later.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for making this special effort coming a bit early for me.
It feels a bit deja vu, doesn't it?
It
We were in
does.
here yesterday recording the LS11 podcast.
We were, Ed, yeah. Thank you for co-hosting with me. If you do listen to my podcast, my co-host Darren was on his holidays, so I roped Ed in, who Ed does a little bit of contributing for LS11 too.
Yes,
So yeah, he's Mr. Leeds United. He's Ed doing All Things Leeds, LS11. He'll be probably working for the club next week.
Yeah. Second day in a row as well, getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I am tired.
It'll do you good. It'll do you good.
Yeah. Well, in this episode, we'll of course look at Leeds United's past couple of games. A 1-1 draw with Nottingham Forest at Ellen Road last Saturday was followed up by a 3-0 win away at mini Manchester United, aka Salford City, in round 1 of the Carabao Cup.
Sports FC.
We will of course discuss Leeds' round 2 tie, which is against Stoke City at home. The last episode of the podcast was released on transfer deadline day, so we will do a recap of the business done by Leeds United on deadline day, as well as a summer transfer window review as a whole, really. We'll look at the other bits of news as well coming out of Ellen Road before looking ahead to Leeds United's next game, which is this Saturday as they take on Wigan Athletic away at the DW Stadium. This is the All Things Leeds podcast. Well, a more formal welcome to Ryan Wilson, our guest in the studio today. Ryan, as always, when we got guests making their first appearance on the podcast, we do like to get to know a bit more about them. So, for everyone who doesn't know who you are and what you do, Ryan, just introduce yourself.
My name is Ryan Wilson, born and bred in Leeds, born and bred into a Leeds United family, and I started following Leeds as a nipper. Really, obviously, games were always on in my house, and then when I was old enough to go to a game, I got taken to a game, which for me, my first game was the 1991-92 season, so we won the league, which was a very good introduction to me into Leeds United. And then as I got a bit older, obviously I went to games with myself, with my mates and that sort of thing. Then I started playing the guitar, got in a rock band, which did quite well. We were successful, still are doing all right. And then I decided to do a Leeds United sort of podcast and fan channel. Got together with a couple of other people, and that's going very well. So that's me in a nutshell, really. I'm married as well to a lovely lady, so I've got a nice family. So that's kind of me in a nutshell.
Nice. How did you get into supporting Leeds United? Everyone has a story, and I think when me and Charles were growing up, Leeds United were in League One, and people question why on earth were you supporting Leeds United, but you back then, 1991-92 season, I'm guessing because Leeds United were good, that's why you got into it.
Well, like I said, I was born and bred into a Leeds United family, and we were poor in the 80s. I don't remember 80s. I was born in the 80s, so I was too little. But at the back end of the 80s and early 90s, we started doing all right, and we got promoted out of then League 2, I think it was, which is the second tier. And then we sort of got into Division 1, old Division 1. And then we won the league again, and that was my first season. I remember thinking, hey, it's good this football, like, just go to games and your team wins. Yeah. Unfortunately, that kind of stopped after that year, but no, obviously.
We haven't won a thing after that
We
year.
haven't really won anything. Well, no, I don't think we've won technically anything of worth.
Won League 1 promotion.
Yeah, like League 1 promotion.
We didn't win the league when we did that.
But we didn't win the league, yeah. So it's been tough, and, like I say, it's in my blood. Once you kind of get a football team in your blood, you're not going to change it. You can't change it. It seems unfathomable struggle getting that word out. To even think about another team. Don't get me wrong. There's a couple of teams who've got small little soft spot, teams on the continent, things like that. Just for for example, St. Pauli, which is a second-tier German team based in Hamburg. With the band, I spent a lot of time in Hamburg, and where we did a lot of gigs, which is the main rock and roll areas on the Reeperbahn. Now, people might know the Reeperbahn has been a bit of a seedy area. Is a seedy area, but that's where St. Pauli is. And St. Pauli's stadium's there, and they've got a lot of good ethics. They're kind of run by the fans. They're very sort of left wing, and they hate all the German history, the Nazis, all that sort of thing. And they're really proud people and proud clubs. So I've got a soft spot for them. Don't necessarily support them, but I've got a soft spot for them. But Leeds United, it's just in my blood.
With the German clubs, I think it's a requirement, isn't it, to be part owned by fans?
Yeah,
right. I don't know what the percentage is exactly, but it's in the law, in the football law. You've got to be at least part owned by the fans.
It is, but St. Pauli's is a lot higher. I'm sure. But that's their choice, obviously, the club's choice. But they run really well, and do you know what? Credit to German football in general. With how they look after the fans, and the ticket prices aren't necessarily overly expensive. I mean, I come from a working class background, and all my family's working class and stuff, and not to sort of like put like be a bit sort of miserable or whatever, but it's very expensive to go to football. I can see like my cousins and the kids and stuff.
We pay £40 for Championship football at the moment.
Yeah, it's a lot of money, and if you're on just a regular working wage, or if you're not, it's too expensive to take your kid as well. Like, football shirts in club shops are expensive, whereas in Germany, it's like to go to like a Bundesliga game, you're talking like no more than 25, 30 quid.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, it's hard to get it because that's why it's cheap, but the fan base, the atmosphere is class,
It's like 80,000 at Dortmund, and they only charge like 20 odd quid a ticket.
Exactly.
For everybody.
It's incredible. I didn't know that about German football. Thank you for informing me.
I spent a lot of time in Germany, so I kind of obviously love football, so you just kind of, wherever you are, you sort of stick your head into local football teams. Like, I do like local football. Like, we were just saying, you're from Garforth.
Yeah.
I like to sort of keep tabs on Garforth Town.
Yeah, I've played in the stadium a couple of times. I do friendlies with mates up there.
Yeah.
So I do
very well run little club as well, like local club. So I'm into it all.
Yeah, and I do a lot of media work for Farsley Celtic as well.
Yeah, you do. Yeah,
great little club is Farsley Celtic. Love it. But back on track though, Leeds United. Would you say that 91-92 season then is your highlight sport in Leeds?
100%. I mean, got a few highlights. Obviously, as I got a bit older, being able to sort of go out drinking with my mates and stuff. We kind of that Champions League era, and it was class, absolutely class. Going to Ellen Road on a Wednesday night, under lights. I were about 18 at the time, having a couple of beers with your mates, seeing Lee Boy put one in past AC Milan. It were just incredible times, and I absolutely loved it. That whole era, the whole era were a really good time. Obviously, it fell away at the end, and we all know what happened to the club after that. But that was some incredible times because we were competing with the best in Europe, and we were competing well. We got to the semi-finals, and for a team like Leeds, who were relatively new to the European scene at that point, it was just fantastic. But yeah, that early 90s were a great way to sort of get into football for me. It were brilliant. It were good times. Good times.
Yeah, I'm jealous. We had to put up with League One football.
You're on the way.
You know what? Credit to you guys for following Leeds. I've said this a few times. I tell you what, there's been a generation of fans that have been missed. When Leeds went down into sort of dark depths of League One, there were kids on my street where I live in South Leeds running around with Chelsea shirts on, Liverpool shirts on, and because at that time Chelsea, Liverpool were doing well, maybe the parents kind of thought, I can't give you a Man United shirt in Leeds, so they give them like a Chelsea or Liverpool, whereas Leeds were in League One and were pretty poor. Yeah. So well done to you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
And anybody else who supports Leeds of your era.
It was kind of 20-ish.
Yeah.
And of course you're in band the Pigeon Detectives. Now I'm a musician myself. I play the drums. I'm a big fan of music. And tell me about how the Pigeon Detectives started. How did that all come about? And you once played with Massimo Cellino as well, didn't you?
We did, yeah. That were interesting. The band, we're all best mates. We all went to school with each other. We weren't a band at school, though, weirdly. The band sort of started after school. I didn't learn to play guitar till I was in sixth form college. Because I was getting into bands like Oasis and then listening to some older bands like Rolling Stones, Beatles, that sort of thing. So I learned to play the guitar, and my mates were kind of doing the same. And we just kind of went into one of the other lads in bands, sort of like he had a slightly bigger bedroom than the rest of us, and we just sort of sat around in his bedroom, just sort of playing around on guitars and stuff. And we're like, oh, shall we like write songs and be a band? And we're like, yeah. And we started going to rehearsal rooms and started writing songs, and we got a gig, and we got signed. We were quite lucky, I guess, to have a few catchy songs, and we started just picking up a decent following in Leeds, and local promoters started looking at us going, oh, they're sort of doing all right, wanting to book us. Then once sort of the word gets around like that, obviously other people start looking at you, and then kind of snowballed really, and within a couple of years we had a platinum album, which were insane for us. Yeah, it just went so fast. It were brilliant. And then a few years back, when Cellino joined the club, he's really into his music, and he loves Pink Floyd, that sort of music, and Jimi Hendrix and stuff. And we at the time we always wear Leeds United on our sleeves, the Pigeon Detectives. We're always quite been going Soccer AM on, tell them we're Leeds fans and all sorts of things. Proud Leeds fans. And Cellino caught wind, that local band, probably was NkGhTg's and stuff, and he invited us to go meet him, and we went to Ellen Road and walked into his office, and there were blokes sat in his office with him as well, and we were all nudging each other going, is that Benito Carboni there? And it was Benito Carboni. And I don't know if you remember, Benito Carboni sort of came and started working with youth system for a small period of time, and that were Benito Carboni's interview that we just gate crashed, but Cellino didn't care. He invited us at the same time. So Benito Carboni's in this really sharp suit and stuff, and thinking, who are these big scruffy bunch? Because we're all 6'2". I'm 6'4". We're all tall lads. You're like, I bet Benito Carboni thought, who are these big scruffy bunch of lads who just walked in and were like, all right, Massimo, and it's like, and he was just offering beers out to us, and he whipped his guitar out to Cellino. And it was just such a surreal experience. I'm thinking, wow, I'm a massive Leeds fan. I'm sat in chairman's office. Benito Carboni's here. We're talking about music. We're strumming around on guitar. This is so weird. But obviously by this point, we didn't realise how much of a sort of nutcase he was really, constantly sacking everyone and that sort of business. And then the end of year player awards happened, and they asked us to play a gig. It's at the Pavilion, isn't it? They asked us to play and said, would you mind if Massimo joined you on stage? And we said, well, no, but what's he going to play? I said, he'll come and play his guitar, and he'll come to your rehearsal studios, and if you can maybe play a Pink Floyd song or Jimi Hendrix song or whatever. And we're like, yeah, all right. So we went away and we learned a Pink Floyd song, and we learned a Jimi Hendrix song, and then he came into our studio and he learnt one of our songs, one of our tracks called I Found Out. And on the night, I think we ended up playing I Found Out, which is one of our songs, and Hey Joe by Jimi Hendrix. So yeah, what a surreal experience. And I'll tell you what, obviously you were quite mad for the club and stuff, but it was nothing but nice to us. So I have to take people on face value to me as well, and it was nothing but nice to us. So I can't really say a bad word about him in that respect. Do I agree how he run the club? Probably not. I think you're a bit too gung-ho with the sackings and the rash decisions, but look, that's the past, and the past. There's no future in the past, and I'm just looking forward now for the club. Yeah, definitely.
What's your thoughts then on Marcelo Bielsa and Leeds United currently?
Very happy that Bielsa stayed. Absolutely buzzing that he stayed. It's consistency, innit? It's continuity. That's what we need. First time we've had a manager back-to-back since, I think, Simon Grayson. So that's a big thing in itself. The players aren't having to get used to a new manager or having to get used to a new system or anything like that. I know we've released a few players, but out of the starting 11, there's not many gone. We've brought in people like Jack Harrison back, so we've got players back who were with us last season back with us, and we haven't made that many signings really. So I'd like to think the continuity is going to help us a lot this season. Yeah, and I think Marcelo Bielsa at the helm, it's probably the best we can ask for at this league. Who else are we going to get? Is a cut above the rest in my opinion. So hopefully this is our year.
Yeah, hopefully, and that continuity as well. It is important. It's like building a big castle made out of Lego, and you almost finish. You do 3/4 of it and just knock it down. We're a year into a project. Exactly. You don't want to just get rid of it all just because we just fell at the last hurdle. You know, you want to keep on going and keep on improving, definitely. We're moving on to Leeds United's past two games then. We'll first talk about the game last Saturday, 1-1 draw at home to Nottingham Forest, and it's another point on the board, Charles. 4 points from 6 now, but does it feel like a loss to you, this game?
I don't agree. I don't think it doesn't feel like a loss. I was disappointed because I was at the game. I was in the South Stand. So I've got a season ticket there. Of course, Ed was in the press box.
I was in McGantry, yes.
So I was with. I brought my dad on Ed's ticket, and we got a good time. And it was I thought we were kind of frustrated most of the first half. I thought particularly towards the end, Leeds were getting a bit stretched. You could feel it in the stadium. The atmosphere was a bit, oh, come on, we need to do something here because these aren't very good, and we're not testing them that much because they were sitting fairly deep, and they were constantly trying to get the ball to Grabban because we know what Grabban can do in this league. He scores goals, as he did against us later on in the game. But yeah, I thought especially in the first half it was a bit tight, not really much going on. And then obviously after our time, we got a bit fortunate. so the Forest fans are saying we've got a bit fortunate with the goal because Bamford might have been offside in the build-up. But
yeah,
from what I saw, I thought he was marginally onside.
Yeah, the replays don't really show it. I thought up in McGantry, I thought he looked a bit offside in the build-up. Yeah. That touch back to Mateusz Klich for the goal.
Great chips, kind of threw ball through from Klich though. I mean, I did think he was a little bit anonymous in the game for the most part, but his stats proved that he's apparently one of the best players. Yeah. So what do I know? Yeah. He was a great assist, and a finish from Menendez, obviously into far corner because he was on right hand side of the box. And far right hand corner, left hand corner of the goal. It was just a great finish.
Yeah, fantastic finish.
But yeah, I was disappointed in the fact we gave them a bit too much joy on set pieces in general. I thought, especially on corners, and there was kind of a warning one. Where I don't know if it was Dawson when he headed it over the bar like a couple of minutes before they scored. That was kind of the warning, like we need to clamp down on these set pieces and stop giving them away. Or if we are going to give them away, mark people properly.
Do you think it's going to be a slight problem, the lack of height we have on set pieces this season?
In some ways, yes, but we've still got reasonably tall players. Like Cooper's 6'1", 6'2", Ben White 6 foot, Aylin's 6'1", I think. So we've still got reasonably tall players. It's just, obviously, with the way Bielsa's teams play, that kind of rapid speed, the low centre of gravity players that Bielsa likes to work with, you don't get tall lads that have, like, it's usually short lads like Hernandez and Shackleton and Robbie Gotts, those kind of shorter players that can just turn as soon as they get the ball and they're off. But defence, it does look like we're going to be a little bit. Yeah. Because even on offensive set pieces, we're not brilliant on them either. Our free kicks to the box, our corners are more than often they go over or they're headed out or cleared reasonably easily, just because we don't have that Pontus Jansson type figure anymore to dominate in the air. But I think we'll be okay. Yeah. We just got to stop giving away silly set pieces. We were giving them far too many corners, far too many free kicks, and the Calvin Phillips one, that was another kind of contentious point in the game where I thought yellow was fair because it was only 1 foot off the ground and he does win the ball, but it is a kind of excessive tackle. Yeah, it's a bit strong. He
needs to be careful, doesn't he, Calvin Phillips?
He's normally very disciplined, to be fair.
Yeah, but you do get those moments where he just flies into tackles, where he takes maybe a touch too heavy, it runs away from him, and he just dives in to try and win it back, which I love seeing, but he does need to be careful. Yeah. He got sent off, of course, against Calgary in a friendly. I think someone needs to remind him that red cards do now count towards bans now. But yeah, he needs to be careful. Interesting on set pieces, of course, conceded a scrappy goal from a set piece, and we did have a warning moments for it. It looks like it could be a weakness this season, but hopefully it isn't. Hopefully we do improve on that. But you say the game doesn't feel like a loss, but I disagree. I think it does feel like a loss. I mean, Ryan, we dominated the game, but we had so many chances that we just missed. It's similar to last season, isn't it? We dominated a game, but just struggled to put away chances, and at the end of the day, not able to win the game.
That's 100. You're right, Ed. It's very reminiscent of a lot of games last season, wasn't it? Frustrating. I think I tweeted after the game, back to our frustrating best. And, we dominated the game. We were the better team by far. I didn't really rate Nottingham Forest too much, if I'm being honest with you. Didn't really overrate them before going into the game, and we dominated them. We were kind of the masters of our own downfall. We kind of let them get back into the game. For me, Sammy Ameobi made a massive difference to them. He came on and he just looks kind of full of confidence. He just picked up the ball and run at us, and our defence didn't like that, and he would run it at us, and he sort of won the corner that led to their goal. And yeah, frustrating that we had some clear-cut chances and we weren't taking them. I don't want to sit here and criticise players because I thought we played well. Generally, I thought they all played well. Not many players I can say didn't play well. I don't think really anybody didn't play well, but obviously it's frustrating for Bamford as Leeds fan. I'm willing the ball to be back at net off Bamford.
When he hit the bar, I thought it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
no.
His all-up play in the game was really good, though.
Exactly.
He's laying it off wide to Harrison or out to Hernandez or to Costa, and he was doing quite well. He got really unlucky with a bounce chance onto the bar, and he had that shot,
like chip on it, chip over
keeper. He could have kind of just passed the post.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he had a bad game. He was getting into the right areas. His hold-up play was good, but he had 4 really great chances in the game from what I can recall. In the first half, around the 25-minute mark, he had 2 good chances in the space of moments.
The chip, yeah.
Yeah, but no, in the first half, though, there was that Ben White fantastic ball over to Patrick Bamford. Bamford making a really good run as well, breaking beyond the Nottingham Forest defence. Fantastic ball from Ben White, who I thought had another fantastic game. Bamford just taking 1 touch too many, too heavy touch, and getting himself into a tight angle, and he's not being able to finish. Yeah,
that's lack of confidence.
It's not just his confidence though; it's because the ball came onto his right foot. And
he's very one-footed. Yeah, and then moments later, Harrison on the left, great skill from Harrison. Who, a lot of people said Harrison didn't have a good game. I thought he did have a really good game.
He's been split this actually. It's come to light that I thought he had an all right game. I didn't think he was the best player for Leeds, but certainly not. But a lot of people, I don't know, I think people have been a bit harsh on him really, because he's transformed a bit. I think, maybe some of his final balls weren't quite on it, but Pablo's weren't, and Pablo's one of our best players. He wasn't the only player that wasn't putting a fantastic ball into the box. So
exactly.
A bit harsh to criticise him. I thought he did well.
I won't give him less than a 7 out of 10, definitely. But Harrison, great skill on the left, cross. Patrick Bamford, 5 yards out, 3 in the box, and just makes an absolute mess of it. Ball goes really high, keeper ends up catching it. And then in the second half as well, within 10 minutes of the second half, Bamford, the great ball from Calvin Phillips, by the way, over to Bamford. Their goalkeeper, Mjovic, rushes out. His chip beats the goalkeeper, but it bounces just wide of the far right hand post. I mean, he needs to get down target. I think any other striker would have got down target, and if it's on target, it's a goal. And then moments later after that, again, Jack Harrison cross from the left, and he makes a mess of it again, and it ends up bouncing off the bar. And it's frustrating, isn't it, Bamford?
That one I wouldn't say he made a mess of, because it kind of bounced at waist height. It was 2 loads ahead.
It was an awkward height when
he had to kind of jump and hit it. And I think he thought, I'll hit it against the ground because it'll probably bounce over the keeper into the net. And he just got a bit unlucky when on the underside of the bar. But
4 really good chances missed. And, Bamford, I don't want to get in his back too much because, of course, he did score against Bristol and I want him to do well. But I think if we go another 4 or 5 games, Bamford's still missing those kind of chances and he's not scoring. Questions have to be asked, though.
He's getting paid a lot of money to score goals for Leeds. He's our main number 9 and he's our only striker that's actually been bought by the club because obviously NkGhTg's on loan. So the responsibility is his. Having said that, it can't be too negative with him because his movement's good. He's massively improved. His general strength in his play. He's out muscling defenders a lot more this season than he was last season. It looked a bit lightweight last season. Yeah, his hold-up play is massively improved. He just needs that finishing edge, and if he gets the finishing edge, we'll demolish this division because there's no standout teams in this league.
Yeah, definitely. He's definitely improved. Of course, 1-0 up on 59 minutes, as you touched on. Nice play from Click, really. Hernandez chesting it down, getting it past Mjovic, who was rushing out again. And it would be Hernandez, wouldn't it, Ryan, who scores the first goal at Elland Road of the season?
Yeah, I mean, they were fantastic down at Bristol, weren't they? I mean, he's arguably our key player this year. And you know what? He's not a young man, and he'll be probably the first to admit he kind of tailed off the back end of last season, and when he tailed off, Leeds tailed off as well. I'm not saying we're a one-man team, I'm not saying that at all, but when Hernandez doesn't seem to be playing that well, sometimes Leeds don't tend to play that well. So, for us, we just want him to be on form, obviously, most of the season. I'm glad that he didn't play against Salford, obviously to give his legs a rest and everything and preparing for the weekend. But he's just incredible, isn't he? I mean, he's already a Leeds legend, you know, and by the time he retires, he will be a Leeds legend, you know.
It's annoying that he's not going to be at the club for 10 years because he
No.
won't get a testimonial, will he?
Oh no, he won't be. Yeah, we should give him one anyway. Just
Is that how long you have to be at a club for a testimonial?
Yeah,
10 years you can have a testimonial match. Yeah.
We should just give him one anyway and just call it like the magician's testimonial, and it's just.
So say if we kept Paul Hubka at the club for 10 years, he would get a
He'd
testimonial.
be entitled to one. Whether anybody turn up and play it is a different thing.
Yeah.
But,
how many years must Calvin Phillips be off? 10 years playing for the club.
I don't know how it works if you come from youth system.
Yeah.
But maybe it's when you first sign a proper contract or whatever. I don't
Because
know.
I think his first professional game when he was like 17, wasn't it, or 18?
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
So it'd be halfway there.
Yeah.
You see loads of old pictures with little Calvin Phillips in and stuff, you know, like little old Leeds kits and stuff. You think, wow. Saw one yesterday actually, a really good picture of I think Robbie Gotts, McCalmont and Shackleton, and when they were all about 14, and they're all sat in back of a van in like Flamingo Land Leeds top when they used to sponsor youth thing. And I thought it just makes you think, wow, these lads now are all breaking through into the starting 11. It's
it was Neil Redfern that said that crop of youth players were going to be the one that would be the next one after obviously Cook and Phillips and Byram. This lot were going to be the next lot.
Yeah.
And he's proved to be right because they're all breaking through and they're all making really good contributions.
Yeah, it was a great coach, Neil Redfern, definitely.
Yeah, it was.
But Ryan, do you think we're relying on Pablo Hernandez too much this season? He's 34 years old.
Yeah, we shouldn't be relying on a 34-year-old, even a player as good as Pablo. You know, I don't think we're relying on him too much yet. It's quite weird because for me, I kind of thought we brought players like Costa in and stuff to kind of relieve the pressure of Hernandez. I felt like sometimes last season, towards the back, especially when Saiz left, Hernandez maybe felt like, right, I'm the only really overly creative player. I've got to do something. And he ended up by trying through balls that didn't work as much and giving the ball away. And, you know, he got a bit frustrating at times, even though he's a wonderful player. And I don't know if he had a bit too much pressure on his shoulders, but kind of thought this season, Jack Harrison's been working hard over the summer. You know, he's going to be a bit of a different player. We've signed Helder Costa, which is a massive signing. Very creative player out wide. And I kind of thought, it's going to work into Pablo's hands, is that? Because you can't, the opposition team can't necessarily just sit and mark out Pablo out of the game when there's other creative players running around as well, you know. But if it were only Pablo, who they see as the biggest threat, then they can maybe mark him out of the game. But that's not going to happen when you've got Costa on the field, and you know there were talk of people like Ryan Kent, but obviously not. But now like Harrison and players like that. So I think there's been a lot of pressure. I don't think we're relying on him too much right now, but he obviously has been instrumental in both games, Bristol and Nottingham. Obviously, Bristol got a goal and an assist. Nottingham got the goal. So let's hope that some of the burden gets passed on to other players, you know, coming on, so then it can free Pablo up to do his thing. Yeah.
As we touched on earlier, of course, Nottingham Forest scoring a scrappy goal from a corner in 77 minutes. And, of course, we missed many more chances. Full time, 1-1. Should we have had at least one penalty, though, Charles?
The Dallas one was bad.
Yeah, and there were two held across.
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
It's championship referees. I was.
Sorry to interrupt, but did you see the European Super Cup thing, Liverpool-Chelsea last night? Did you see Tammy Abraham's penalty that got given? Did you not see it?
Yeah.
It literally, the goalkeeper's gloves slightly brushed his legs, and I thought, Dallas got kicked into Rose's head, no penalty.
Helder Costa as well, getting brought down twice later.
He got fully shoved flat.
That'd be a free kick anywhere else on pitch.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, sorry.
What about the first half as well? There was a challenge on Forshaw. I thought it looked a bit soft. That was about 6 minutes in.
It did look a bit soft in hindsight, now looking back on it. But at the time, to me, he ran into the box and he just got body checked. Someone ran in front of him and just stopped dead, just clotheslined him from what I saw. I thought that should have been given. But having seen it back, he realises he's not going to get to the ball. You can see it, and he just decks it.
He plays for it a little bit.
But referee Robert Jones, he was very poor. And there is a problem there with VFL officials that a lot of them just aren't good at all. I mean, it is a hard job. Don't get me wrong. I have refereed one game before, and I understand it, but you got to be like, we should have had at least one penalty.
They're professionals now, aren't they? They're professionals.
Job. Yeah, they're in the second highest league in
England.
England.
And
exactly.
This is the Championship's the biggest second tier football league in the whole world.
It's probably about the sixth biggest overall league in the world.
It probably is.
It's one of the toughest. Pep Guardiola said it himself. It's one of the toughest leagues in Europe. So you need good officials.
For the financial constraints that we have and the quality of players, it is probably the hardest because we can't in the Championship because of FFP. You can't just go out and buy a flat team. I mean, unless you're Wolves, but even they got all theirs on loan.
And bought
loan to buys, which we've kind of done a little bit with Costa and that. But it is so tough to get out of. Because if you chance your arm and screw up like Villa did first time round, you're in financial hell.
Yeah, exactly.
And you need to cheat like Derby did to get out of the FFP by selling your own stadium to yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
I can safely say that Leeds United are not going to get in trouble with financial fair play anytime soon. But 1-1 draw, 4 points from 6. I don't think people are happy, but
promotion form.
But we move on. We move on, don't we? And of course, we moved on to the Carabao Cup game. Leeds United, of course, beating Salford City 3-0 away at the Peninsula Stadium on Tuesday night in round 1. Now, I wasn't able to watch the entire game. Like, I wasn't able to put my full attention to it. I did have it on the stream, but I was at Farsley Celtic doing media work. Farsley Celtic, unfortunately, losing 3-0 at home to Southport, but never mind. But Leeds United, of course, winning 3-0, which is great. And Charles, we made a lot of changes, but got the job done in the end.
We made 7 changes, yet it looked like a team we would start in the Championship.
Yeah, it was a very strong team. Yeah. We're surprised that the likes of Calvin Phillips, Kiko Kase and Mateusz Klich started.
I thought starting Klich and Phillips was an interesting choice. I wouldn't have done that.
I probably wouldn't have done that.
I'd have gone with McCalmont from the start. He came on later on in the game. And I don't know, I'd have probably gone Bogusz instead of Klich in the team.
I would have done.
Yeah. It's annoying that we didn't see Bogusz.
I liked the fact that we saw Costa get a lot of game time. That was good. Giving NkGhTg his debut, obviously he got the goal. Yeah. Really good, really well worked goal. That through ball from Shackleton was filthy. And
it was a nice run from Helder Costa as well. And great ball across NkGhTg, 2 yards out, but get himself in the right area. Got himself in the right area. It was a really nice goal. But Meslier as well, the new goalkeeper, 19-year-old from French League 2 side, FC Lorient. We're surprised that he wasn't even featured. He wasn't even on the bench. What's happened there?
Yeah, I'm more surprised that he didn't feature. But NkGhTg did, as soon as NkGhTg came. Well, I know it was not a big difference, but yeah, he didn't feature on the bench at all. So that's a strange one. I thought he might have been on the bench just to get a bit of match day, soak up experience or whatever. But obviously Bielsa didn't do that. Whether you never know, he might have a slight knock or strain or something. I don't know. But he didn't feature. But I kind of think the lineup were good. It were positive. It were attacking, but. A bit like you, Charles, I wouldn't have bothered personally with Klich or Phillips. Just simply,
you don't want to risk him.
Especially Phillips, he's a key player this season, 100%. I wouldn't have bothered risking him.
I think maybe starting to see was the fact that Bielsa did say in his press conference he was going to take both cups very seriously. So start your best goalkeeper. Maybe he's got that kind of mindset. Maybe he wants to do some more work with the because obviously our build-up play from the back. The goalkeeper is crucial to it. Maybe he wants to work a bit more with the system. Yeah, we don't know these things. That might be the case.
It was unfortunate not to see Bogusz. He was on the bench. He didn't come off at all. I would have liked to see him. But
I would have done.
But of course, as you mentioned, we played well, but NkGhTg, of course, scoring just before half time. It took us a while to break Salford City's defence.
We really struggled to get in behind, particularly in the first half. Yeah. For the first 35-40 minutes.
That's what you get with a lower league side.
Yeah, they were sitting deep. They were counter attacking. They had a couple of shots on target. Phillips had a couple of shots on target as well.
I mean, credit to Salford City though. They looked okay defending, and they had a few chances going forward as well.
All our shots for one goal were from kind of in front of their defensive line. I think Jack Clark had one that had to be saved, but and then obviously we got the breakthrough with the NkGhTg goal. And then after our time, they were a lot more open. We got a lot more space to exploit because once they got 1-0 down, they then had to push forward to try and win the game, which meant we cut them off at the knees, basically.
In that first half, they pretty much had everybody behind the ball constantly. It looked like attack versus defence in a training ground, and they were quite big lads, a lot of their sort of defenders as well. So you just saw all our sort of young lads and smallish lads sort of going at them, and you just saw these giants in red shirts, and it would just attack versus defence. But like you say, once that first goal went in, unless they wanted to just try and see out a 1-0 loss, which is bizarre. You wouldn't do that. They had to kind of push a bit, and obviously that allowed us to get in.
So then both these goals in the second half came within 15 minutes.
Yeah, came within the first 15 minutes.
Which just shows that they came forward and we cut them off.
Of course, 2-0 up on 50 minutes from a corner, surprisingly. And it was Bavardi as well scoring.
Yeah. Great touch. What a touch that was. Sort of ran onto the ball, didn't he? And a little sort of flick past the goalkeeper. And quite disappointed, I shouldn't say this, but disappointed that there were no Leeds fans on the pitch. I'm only kidding.
I only noticed, watching the highlights, that he was actually captain for the game. I didn't realise.
Yeah, he was captain as well.
Yeah.
He's come on leaps and bounds, hasn't he, Bavardi? When he came in, he was with the rest of the Shitalians and
Shitalians. I like that. And, I like that.
Yeah, but Brian Montenegro and Giuseppe Belushi.
But it was a nice corner though.
Christ. But what?
Well worked goal, wasn't it?
Brentford.
No, not that. Yeah, not that Canos. He's a shit house.
Is it Edgar Carney wanted.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, he was crap as well.
Yeah. But it was a nice, well-worked corner door into the front post. Bavardi making a nice run and getting in. It was a really nice goal. And then 3-0 up on
finish.
Yeah.
I was saying to Ed, I think we possibly nicked that corner off Forest, that near post flick on, because that's what they basically did. They whipped it near post, then we flicked it on.
Maybe so, because let's face it, we were playing land at Giants, so I don't think we were going to win. I don't think Brady's going to win an header against a 6'5" Salford defender. So
no, never.
So let's use our skill a bit more, just get it in a bit lower and harder, and nip
whenever it was on the floor, they really struggled, and when it was in the air, we really struggled.
Yeah.
So whenever we started playing football, they couldn't really handle that.
Yeah. We play
tennis. They were brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, that's where lower league size, isn't it?
Yeah.
Balls in the air more times than it is on the floor, bizarrely. 3-0 up in 58 minutes though. Counter attack, click, really nice run. Cutting in on his right foot, curling it into that top right corner.
Assist by Berardi.
Yeah. Came from a counter attack, didn't it? From a corner. So.
Yeah, and it was a really nice finish from Mateusz Klich as well. He's off the mark for this season.
Yeah,
and he just scored brilliant goals as well. He just scores world-class goals.
He loves them curve finishes, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he does. Yeah.
If you're playing FIFA, it's like one of them where you press R1, isn't it?
Finesse goal.
It very rarely hits them straight.
No.
But 3-0 up, 3-0 win, job done. We progressed to round 2 of the Carabao Cup, and we have been drawn at home against Stoke City.
Joy.
It's not the most exciting of games, but Charles, it gives the fringe players a chance to play against, I mean, no offence to Salford, but better opposition though, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm sure Stoke will want to come and knock us out of the cup, and they are championship opposition, which will mean the game will be probably more entertaining because they'll want to play football a bit more. Stoke have got some good players, although you need to tell them that because they never win any games.
Yeah, that's all right.
They've got probably the third best squad in the league and never win any games. I think it's to do with their manager personally. I don't think Nathan Jones is that great.
Yeah,
I think he's been a bit found out at championship level.
Well, he was from Luton Town, wasn't
he? I mean, look, Luton Town carried on doing well after he left, so they probably just had good players or something.
Yeah, exactly. It's probably to do more with recruitment than his managerial talents.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to the game. I'm probably gonna get down there with my brother and my cousin, because there's always more chance of getting tickets for cup games because it's usually about 20,000 go down. So
usually only up about 2 stands as well.
Yeah.
But it'll be good for the French players though to play against better opposition, wouldn't it? It'll be a good experience for the youngsters as well to get out against championship opponents, and it prepares them as well for if they need to step into that championship first team.
100%. I mean, we might obviously see the new goalkeeper. Is it Meslier? Is that how we pronounce it?
Ilan Meslier.
Yeah, Meslier. Yeah. So we might see him. Obviously, he'll be bedded into the squad, the team a bit more. Drill trained, etc. But I reckon Stoke will do the same. I think Stoke will mix their team up as well. It seems at this sort of stage in the cups, if 2 teams, whether 2 Premier League teams meet each other, 2 Championship teams or whatever, it's almost like a sort of a mutual agreement almost. I'd be very surprised if Leeds or Stoke put the first teams out. It's kind of they both seem to know that we'll put out some fringe players, and like I said, Ed, it'd be good for them to have a proper run out against better quality of player. Even Stoke's fringe players are going to be there or thereabouts good enough for Championship like ours are. So it's going to be a harder game and one that's going to benefit, I think. Some people sort of moan about cup games, especially at Carabao Cup. I think it's a bit of like a joke cup. And to a certain extent, for me, it's all about the league. If we got knocked out by Stoke, I'd be disappointed because I don't like to see Leeds lose, but I'm not that bothered. I'd rather be knocked out of the cup on Tuesday night but win the game on Saturday, in the league. So for me, if we progress, great, and these fringe players get a run out, and it lets Bielsa see them. It builds their fitness. It gets them used to the tactics.
Playing at Ellen Road as
Playing
well.
at Ellen Road, yeah. I mean, don't get wrong, it probably won't be sold out like it is for league games, but still, you know, a sort of a 25,000 Ellen Road is still better than most other Championship clubs' best days. So it's going to be a good experience for everyone.
Yeah, definitely. And hopefully, of course, Leeds United win. It would be nice to go in the cup run, though, wouldn't it?
I like the fact it's at home.
Yeah,
we've been drawn away a lot in the cup last few rounds. Last time, not just this season, but last season we were away quite a bit as well. I think we had the Bolton one at home last season, but
Bolton and Preston were both at home.
Both at home. But we had
the FA Cup.
Away
at QPR.
Yeah, we had away at QPR. What was the other one we had away at?
There were other ones. No other ones.
Fair enough.
After 2 rounds of the Carabao Cup last season, both at home. QPR game. We got knocked out, and that was away.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, we got.
I was under the impression we were away last season.
No, Preston at home won it. Who knocked us out of Carabao Cup.
They just cheated.
They went 1-0 up through a penalty after about 2 minutes, and just time wasted throughout that. It was the most frustrating game to watch ever.
It was Shaughnessy won it. Who tripped him, I think.
He didn't even trip. If you watched the replay,
it was a dive.
He just tripped
a dive.
Yeah, it was a really frustrating game to watch.
It was awful, wasn't it?
Yeah, got it that paid £15 to watch it.
It is nice to be at home.
Yeah, it'll be nice to go in the cup run as well. Play against
Premier
League.
I was thinking of. Not the cup.
Yeah, pre-season.
I was thinking because we didn't have a single home game in pre-season.
Yeah, which is really annoying.
So it's nice to be at home.
Yeah, it'd be nice to go in the cup run as well. Maybe get a Premier League opposition at home.
Yeah. Leicester were not last season, but season before we had. And
away from
season
home.
Before that we had Liverpool, Anfield. That were good.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to get a proper.
Get like a Man City at home. That'd be nice.
I don't want a Man City. I don't want to lose that 7-0.
Yeah, that's very true.
I'd take He'd take someone like Southampton or Bournemouth or Watford or someone like that.
Yeah.
Just someone who's got a decent team, but not someone that's going to muller us.
We'll move on to other bits of news then. I guess we have to start with the transfer news, really. Of course, the summer transfer window has now closed. It closed last week on Thursday, 5 p.m. Leeds on deadline day, firstly signing 2 players, first being the 19-year-old goalkeeper Ilham Meslier from French League 2 side FC Lorient. He was their number 1 last season. He's highly rated over in France as one of the best young goalkeepers around. We've signed him on a season-long loan with an option to buy. I touched on him earlier. We were surprised not to see him start against Salford and play and featured against Salford, really. But now that we've made the signing, Ryan, what are your thoughts?
Well, very excited about NkGhTg for a start.
Yeah.
But I think the goalkeeper, I don't really know much of him. I'm quite surprised. I thought we might have gone for one of these calibers of goalkeepers that maybe coming towards the end of their career, maybe played Premier League or something like that. You know, somebody that could maybe challenge Kiko at Championship level.
Do you not think Meslier will provide strong competition for Kiko?
Maybe he will, but I don't know enough about him. But he's 19. I feel it's a lot of pressure to put on a 19-year-old goalkeeper's shoulders to turn up and play in front of 35,000 people at Ellen Road, unless he's a wonder kid, and he quite might well be, but I doubt it if Laurenti, I don't know how you pronounce it.
Lorient.
If they were prepared to loan him out with apparently a view to sign. So that's not a negative standpoint at all. We needed more bodies in, I guess. But I thought, like with Will Uffer and what's it called? Mayazik. Yeah, with them two, I felt that they might be at this level that
I mean, they're both young goalkeepers. They're both not too bad either.
Exactly. So I found it like he's just a third one of them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
it did seem a bit strange, and I agree with you. I would have liked someone like a Kieran Westwood or someone in the Premier League side,
exactly.
Who's towards the end of their career, but still a good goalkeeper, big name as well. Charles, would you agree? Kiko, he needs competition, doesn't he? Do you think Meslier will provide that strong competition, or should we have gone and got out a big name?
Kind of similar to Ryan. I've not seen much of him, and obviously we missed the opportunity to see him in the Salford game. But I'm sure if he's as highly rated as people claim he is, then he's good as people claim he is. Yeah. Then I don't think we've got anything to worry about. Personally, I would have promoted one of Mayazik or Huffer, probably Mayazik, because I think he's the better keeper. Yeah. Out of the 23s, because I think bringing in another kind of teenage goalkeeper, I don't see much point in that. We've already got the 2. If you were gonna bring one in, you'd go for someone very experienced.
Yeah, I'd rather develop our own than someone else's.
I know obviously Man City signed him, but Scott Carson would have been a perfect number 2.
Yeah,
He would have been the experience there and the possible competition, because he's been playing for years with Derby, and he's a ex-England international, so he would have been the good experience option. But yeah, I'm not annoyed about the signing, because we needed a goalkeeper. We've got a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
But I personally would have promoted one of the youth lads.
Yeah, definitely. There is an option to buy them. Highly rated youngster. He's one for the future, one to watch out for.
So, I mean, he might turn out to be really good. So.
Exactly. But I still think that we should have gone back for Andy Lonergan. Of course, won the Super Cup with Liverpool last night.
It was mad seeing him get a medal yesterday with that, like, arm in arm with Salah and Mane and stuff. I'm like, this is so surreal.
I mean, he spent the past couple of years just going around Preston and Leeds United.
He was at Middlesbrough as well for a bit.
It's absolutely bizarre. It's like Rob Green last season when Chelsea won the Europa League.
That was well funny.
There's a picture of Rob Green lifting the Europa League.
Oh, that's funny. That's brilliant.
Yeah, but Andy Lonergan, I mean, yeah, if he's good enough for Liverpool, the European champions, and win the Super Cup, he's good enough for Leeds. Come on.
Yeah.
I know this isn't relevant to what we're talking about right now, but with Ben White, we were talking about options to buy. Apparently Brighton refused to put an option to buy in his contract when Leeds wanted one. So
he's just going to get recalled in January, isn't he? You just know that's going to happen.
I wonder if they're allowed to recall him, because sometimes that clause gets taken out. So I might try and tap up something like Philly or Graham Smith from Yorkshire Evening Post to see if they know any more about that. Or maybe when we got to Leeds United's press conference today,
just ask him there.
Just ask Bielsa. By the way, can Ben White piss off in January or not? Maybe not put it as quite as awful as that. Sorry for swearing.
But he's been playing really well, and you can see how highly they rate him, because they've kind of brought him up through the leagues. He was in Newport in League 2, wasn't he? He was in Peterborough in League 1.
Yeah.
Now he's challenging at the top end of the Championship with Leeds. You can see that Brighton are thinking he might eventually come into our first team in the Premier League.
He's taken like a duck to water as well. It doesn't look out of place.
It looks great. It looks like he's been playing Championship football for years.
He's got a lot more to give as well, given how young he is. He's going to get better.
Yeah. Well, the next player through the door on deadline day was, of course, 20-year-old striker NkGhTg from Premier League side Arsenal. He's on a season-long loan as well. We got him instead of Ryan Kent, and he's now a striker, which I think we all needed. I think everyone can agree on that. Very highly rated youngster, though. He looks good, quick, and he can finish as well, as we saw on Tuesday night. I think I speak on behalf of all of us. He is a good sign, and we're looking forward to seeing what he can do at Leeds United, and excited about this transfer. A few outs, though, on deadline day. 21-year-old left-back Tom Pearce was the first to leave. He joined Wigan Athletic for £300,000, and he was never going to get game time. There were players in front of him: Leif Davis, Alioski, and Douglas.
Wigan,
because he is a fairly decent player. He is a bit cheap.
For England under 20s, I think. Or
Bielsa don't rate him though. That's the thing. Yeah. He prefers Leif Davis in that role.
Yeah.
At
least get half
in that role. Barry Douglas in that role. So if you're kind of fourth or fifth down the pecking order, Bielsa doesn't really like players milling about Thorpe Arch.
Do you know what I think it is with him? I don't think he's overly great going that forward. He always looks really tentative going forward.
He did score though against Barnsley.
He did score to be fair against Barnsley, but which is ironic, but they were interested in him. But for me, I think people like Leif Davis is much better at getting up and down, and it's quite clear from the start Bielsa never really fancied him, because he were kind of getting in the team, wasn't he, when Neckenbottom were here and everything, and Bielsa came and he just got loaned out pretty much straight away. So.
Yeah, it was. I saw an interview with Shackleton and Robbie Gotts a while back. They were both getting interviewed by LUTV, and they've been asked these standard questions: who's the best trainer? And they both said it was Shackleton. He said himself, and Robbie Gotts said him, and he said he was the worst trainer. Said Tom Pearce.
Really?
If you're a bad trainer, Bielsa's not going to put him
No. If you're being a bit lazy or your body language is not right, he won't like that.
But it does seem a bit cheap though, £300,000, only £100,000 more than what we had to pay for the Spygate fine for standing on a public footpath, which is just bizarre. But good luck to Tom Pearce at Wigan Athletic though. Hopefully he does well, and we'll of course play him this weekend if he does feature. But a departure though that I wasn't particularly happy about was the sale of under-23 player Clark Ador. Now he made a permanent move to Barnsley for an undisclosed fee. I guess it's a small fee, but I'm a big fan of Ador. Seeing him, he looks quick, skillful. He's very versatile as well, and it looked like he could have pushed into that first team as well. He went on the Australia tour this summer, but Bielsa in his press conference last Monday, praised Adair. He said he listed off the number of positions that he can play, numerous positions. But he said he didn't want to rob the chance of him playing first team football, which I understand. I think it's great, but I think I would have preferred him to go out on loan instead of a permanent deal, because I do think that he has a really bright future. What about you, Charles?
Yeah, I'd have possibly sent him on loan to League One for a season, or maybe even League Two, something like that. But if Barnsley come in and say to Leeds, right, we'll give you X amount of money, and they're speaking to Adair and they say, right, if Leeds go, right, you can play under 23s football with us for the end of the season, or Barnsley say, right, you can be in our first team and you'll be playing Championship football. You know what are you going to accept there? Yeah. And it's Barnsley, so you don't have to move if you don't want to move.
Yeah, it's convenient.
Yeah. They're nicking all our players at the moment, aren't they? Barnsley. Were you surprised though? I think surprised a few people that Clark Adair left. Were you surprised?
Yeah, really surprised. Like you said, Ed, he featured a lot in pre-season. He went over to Australia, and I kind of thought he's going to be one of these fringe players from the under-23s, like breaking into the match day squad. So. It were announced pretty late on in the transfer window, I think pretty much right at the end or just after the end, and I genuinely wow, didn't expect that. For me, I didn't see loads of him, so I can't overly comment on how great it was last year, but I know a lot of people speak quite highly of him. But we touched upon it on my podcast yesterday when we recorded it. Do we aspire for better things, you know? Why have a massive squad of players when... Will he cut the mustard in the Premier League if we get promoted? Yeah. Possibly not, but... And
Bielsa did say that there were plenty of players in front of him.
Exactly,
as well.
And Bielsa said there's players in front of him, so I kind of can understand why it might have happened, really. Yeah. But I just kind of... But just the way everything was being lined up over summer, you just assumed he were going to be part of the season, so
I think it shocked everyone.
Surprising.
But good luck to Clark Adair.
Yeah, of course,
at Barnsley. I hope he does very well there. But those were the moves on that the club made on transfer deadline day last week. Of course, the summer transfer window has now closed, with a total of 22 players leaving Leeds United across the summer, with the club making around £30 million in player sales, which I think is very good, while bringing in 10 players. 2 players, of course, we saw last season, Jack Clark and Jack Harrison, and all those 10 players were either on loan or for free or a small fee, undisclosed fee.
Can I ask a question, so if you guys know, has Anita gone? Is he off our book?
No,
I don't think so.
He's on like $30,000 a week. This is the last year of his contract.
Yeah. I think he's refusing to leave because he was on too much money.
To leave.
Is he? Do you think he's just going?
Because we signed him on a lot of money from Newcastle, didn't we?
Just leeching off the club.
Yeah. Do you know what the worst thing about that was? When we signed him, Newcastle fans were quite disappointed. Like, oh, would have liked to seen him because they just got promoted. Like to seen him in the squad for us in Premier League. You know, and they were going, oh, you've got a good player there. You know, Newcastle fans talking to Leeds fans, and it just never worked out, did it? It never looked like he could be bothered for a start.
No.
Just weird sort of like ethics he's got. I don't know.
Because he hasn't played, that no club's going to come in for him.
But it was weird because
we're in Greece last season.
Yeah, but we signed him and he was a midfielder and he played left back. But he's slow, he's small, he's got a fat ass. He's not gonna get in the first team.
He had a reasonably good first touch and his passing range was all right. He got beat defensively a lot.
But 22 players in, as I said, making around £30 million in player sales. 22 players out, rather. And then 10 players in, 8 of those brand new faces. Leeds United getting rid of the deadwood throughout the summer, while also adding and improving the squad, I'd say, really. Of course, we don't buy Helder Costa until next year. And I think it's been a fairly decent summer of business made by Leeds United. What are your thoughts, Charles?
Yes, I've been impressed with sort of the NkGhTg signing. I thought the Costa signing was very good. I think and the goalkeeper was necessary given, and Ben White's been a superb signing.
Yeah,
I know that obviously Costa was one Bielsa really wanted, and he recommended him to Orta, and Ben White was one that Orta proposed to Bielsa. That's worked out. I know I don't want to be one of those whingers on Twitter, but I really would have liked another centre half. And I don't want to be one of them guys that just continually whinges about it, because the squad's the squad. We're not got that many injuries. We've got Aylin's come back. We've got Tyler Roberts come back. So our attacking options, we've got loads of options. I would have liked a couple. I'd like one more defender, I think. But I'm not. Some people are like really disappointed because they don't understand how football transfers work. You've got the agent fees. You've got the player sign-on fees. You've got transfer fees in general. There's so many costs, and then wages are something huge for players. Costa will be on stupid wages because he's come from Wolves. NkGhTg from Arsenal, he'll be on minimum 20 grand a week.
Yeah.
So you've got to take these things into account when you're thinking about transfers. Plus, we were already in with FFP last season a bit, so the clearing out the dead would have helped that.
Yeah.
And
I think it was minus 4 million last season, wasn't it?
Is that what it was?
which obviously is not as bad as some clubs, but with the kind of the 12-point punch in the face you could get at any point from the
and we
FFP
know
guys.
that the EFL would love to do that.
Exactly.
So you can understand why Kinnear's been a bit, and also been a bit cautious this window.
Yeah.
But they've managed to be cautious and still get nearly everything we need.
Yeah, and still do good business and barely spend a penny, which I think is.
So I'm not disappointed. No.
Yeah, definitely a good summer. Do you agree, Ryan?
Yeah, I'm generally happy with it. Kind of a little bit with Charles. I think another centre half would have been good for me. As it stands right now, yeah, it's great, but obviously it's a long season. So if anybody gets injured, suspended, then it just weakens us quite a lot. Certainly in the defensive part. Attacking part, you're right. We've got people like Roberts to come back, but for me, I would have also liked quite a creative number 10 sort of player.
We've
got plenty of number 10s, don't we? Adam Forshaw, Bogus, Shackleton.
But I'm talking. I don't think when Size left, we didn't replace. Size not being replaced with the quality. Yeah. I know he had his attitude wasn't right, but as a footballer, a fantastic player, and I felt when he left around December time last year. Obviously, not saying it's because of him, but the back end of the season were poor for us compared to the first part of the season. First part of the season, this time last year, I remember opposition fans saying, wow, that Saïd is one of the best players in this league. Because against Derby, he absolutely tore him apart. We played Bolton in the Carabao Cup in first round at Ellen Road. He tore them apart. You know, like, it were kind of, for me, I sometimes think Bamford can be a little bit isolated up front on his own, and again, going to Pablo Hernandez, sometimes too much pressures on him to create. But when you had Size in the team, look, he wasn't a goal scorer. He had a crap shot, if anything, but he could unlock the door like that. It was so easily. So for me, I feel like we missed that calibre of player. You're right, number 10, Click can play there, Bogarts can play there.
Hernandez as well, you can move a winger
Hernandez
out.
possibly could. So, you know, would Hernandez work better play? I think Hernandez works best when he's on the wing to cut in. Yeah. His best games is generally when he's out wide, even though I'd like to see him at middle and then have Costa and, you know, Harrison or Clark on the other wing, you know. So, but for me, I would have liked a centre-half and somebody with that creative quality sat behind the striker.
Yeah.
My opinion, of course.
Yeah, I'd agree with a centre-half. I'm not sure about number 10. I think we've got plenty of options going forward. Got a few selection headaches, which I think is nice. But, I think overall, decent summer for Leeds United. 22 players out, £30 million in player sales, and 10 players in, basically spending not a penny spent, really. So I think that's decent. Well, moving on to other bits of news then. Coming out of Ellen Road, we now know the release date of the new documentary that's coming out, Take Us Home Leeds United. Documentary, of course, which follows Leeds United through the 2018-19 season. Russell Crowe is the narrator, taking time out of his busy acting schedule to narrate a Leeds United documentary. Of course, he's a Leeds United fan. But it's going to be released this Friday, 16th of August on Amazon Prime. Now, me and Charles discussed this the other week, but Ryan, are you excited about the documentary? Will you be watching it?
I've seen the little preview clip thing that they put out, and yeah, it looks great.
Yeah.
But we know it's going to end in misery, so...
Yeah, I think, you know, we all know how it ends in heartbreak, but we used to be watching the last episode.
No, I'll tell you what, I were engrossed in last season. I absolutely loved it. With the first proper season that I covered Leeds United for LS11 and the podcast. Started the back end of the season before when it was crap, but like last year were an amazing season for me as a fan. I'm not a pundit or like that or a journalist, but as a creator of LS11 and the podcast and everything, I got really deep into the club and everything, and so I absolutely loved last season. It was an amazing season to cover, fantastic football,
many memories
Bielsa,
as well.
Yeah, some great memories. Look, we know it didn't end well, but it looks like it's really well filmed as well. Credit to the documentary makers, have done a great job, and it just seems to highlight the passion that has for the club has and everything. And so I'm really excited to see it. Even my wife's really excited to see it. My wife, she's not necessarily a football fan. She's kind of become a Leeds fan because of me. Took her to quite a few games last season. and she's got familiar with a few players and everything, and she's like, "Oh, that's Luke Ayling there and stuff." She liked his hair or whatever, and, you know. Like,
who doesn't like Luke Ayling's hair?
Exactly, she recognised him because of his hair, and then Pablo and everything. So, and even she's buzzing to watch it, and she's not really a football fan. So,
I mean,
it seems to grip people.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be a good watch. Sunderland Till I Die on Netflix, that was very good. Man City documentary, that was very good as well. And I think this will be even better. You got everything from last season. You got but you got Bielsa, you got Spygate.
I've got an emotional stake in this.
Yeah,
that's
I could watch Sunderland Till I Die and not really
give a shit.
No, not like when it all fell apart.
You can just laugh.
I don't really care.
I can
enjoy the behind the scenes stuff and not really care.
Yeah. And then of course we know how it ends. But for me, I think it's coming out at the best time. Really, we've got over last season now. The new season's in. We're excited for it. We've had a decent start, but we're excited for the new season and what's to come. And I think it is coming out at the best time. Do you think it's coming out at a really good time?
Yeah, I guess it's the best time to release it, whereas optimism's pretty high. I mean, it was really weird because a couple of weeks ago, a lot of Leeds fans were pessimistic, before the transfer window shut. So we didn't have we sold or about to sell a roof, and we had no strikers apart from Bamford. And it was going into the season, quite a pessimistic sort of fan base. And Twitter were an awful place with some fans. I mean, look, everybody's entitled to their own opinions, but I read some real tripe on social media, and quite awful to read a lot of it. But we got that win down at Bristol, and it kind of lifted everybody. So, yeah, it's quite a good time to release it, I think. Do you think they're filming one for the centenary year,
I think they're doing the season 2, yeah.
Because
I've seen a few cameras around.
Oh, good, because they're definitely...
No, I saw one. I saw one because I was leaving Ellen Road on Saturday after the Forest game, and I was walking... And you know where the motorway is, and there's that tunnel going through the tunnel. And I was walking, I was by myself, and there was some guy with some really high tech camera, and I was doing a really nice walk. I was like, I'm gonna try and make myself be on this. I'm gonna do a proper serious walk. I'm not gonna wave to the camera or anything.
Shots with you in it.
Yeah, but I think there is a season 2 coming. I don't think Twitter and Facebook will be a nice place with other fans laughing at us bottling promotion last season. But
Derby County Live put a bit of a bantery tweet out yesterday or something. They've put something like, we know how this ends well, or something like that, with them weird looking eyes.
They got smashed at Wembley.
I know exactly.
But I do think it'll be entertaining. It'll be a good watch, and it'll be nice to see the behind the scenes at Ellen Road as well. And Marcelo Bielsa first sit down interview as well.
Luke Ayling's got an interview in the trailer, so they're interviewing the players as well.
Yeah, and you got the Dan James scenario as well, of course. And
there were like an image of Dan James even in the preview thing, weren't there?
I mean, he basically signed for Leeds United, but then at the end, Swansea just said no.
Hugh Jenkins, the naughty man, and then resigned from his role a few days later. That was so frustrating because he's now a Man United player, which is really sad to see. And he bloody got a goal in his debut, didn't he, against Chelsea last week at Old Trafford.
He could have been ours.
It could have been ours. And I tell you what,
if we'd have got him, we wouldn't have got Costa though. That's the thing. We just wouldn't have signed Costa.
You never know. We could have not re-signed Harrison or something and had James and Costa on either side.
No.
But anyway, it wasn't to be. Everything happens for a reason, and that happened for a reason, and we didn't get promoted.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see the behind the scenes of how that all works out with Dan James and everything.
I'm just looking forward to seeing Victor Orta smashing our laptops and stuff behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's very animated.
He's an emotional bloke.
Yeah, I think we're all excited to see it. I think we're all excited to see it. Time to look ahead then to Leeds United's next game, of course, against Wigan Athletic away at the DW Stadium this Saturday. 3 p.m. kick-off. It's not on Sky Sports for once. Leeds, of course, unbeaten so far this season. 3-1 away at Bristol City on the opening day, followed by a 1-1 draw at home to Nottingham Forest, and then, of course, 3-0 win away at Salford City in the Carabao Cup on Tuesday night. Decent form going into this, whereas Wigan, on the opening day of the season, they had a fairly good home win against Cardiff, 3-2. But then the next game after that in the league, they lost 3-0 away at Preston, and I think... now
Wigan are just a home team, though. They don't turn up away.
Yeah, that was the thing last season. They were really strong at home, but this season, I think they're unpredictable. What game are you expecting from Wigan Chelsea?
It's hard. It's always hard when we go there.
But we did win last season, though.
And we lost at home, weirdly enough.
Yeah, we lost at home 2-1.
To the worst away team in the league.
Yeah, and it was
10 men as well.
That ruined our promotion hopes as well.
That was the beginning of the end, I said.
Reece James pulled the strings of that game, though. If he hadn't been in that team, we'd have mullered him.
Yeah, but of course we did win there 2-1 last season, though. So, we have a decent record against them. We're unbeaten in 4 in our past 5 meetings. Of course, we lost the last meeting, but the other ones after that, 2 wins and 2 draws. So we do have a decent record against them. Like I said, they are strong at home, but they're coming into it on the back of a 3-0 loss in the league away at Preston, and then a 1-0 loss at home to Stoke City in the Carabao Cup on Tuesday night. So they're not going into it in good form, and I'm quite confident.
We've just won 3-0 with a lot of first-team players.
Yeah.
They'll be up for the weekend. They'll want to make up for the Forest game.
Confidence should be high. Want to make up for the Forest game.
I reckon we'll win it.
Key players rested. Pablo's had his legs rested, so he can perform some magic like the magician he is.
Do you think it'll be an unchanged lineup from the Forest game?
I think it'd be the same as Forest game.
Do you not think NkGhTg or Costa will get in there?
No. I think...
I'd want Costa to start, personally.
Yeah. Who would you take out there if you were going to start Costa?
Oh, that's a tough question, though.
Yeah. We've got a lot of selection headaches. I mean, I don't think you'd take out Jack Harrison. You could maybe move Pablo Hernandez into the middle, but I think Forshaw and Click in those 2 midfield roles, especially away from home, is quite decent. So
yeah, they're quite solid, aren't they?
Yeah.
They kind of close a lot of things down.
I think at home it doesn't work, but away. Yeah.
True is that.
Be interested to see how much game time NkGhTg gets at the weekend.
Yeah. If he even gets any game time.
I think it depends on how Bamford performs. If Bamford has a good game,
scores 2 goals.
I don't really think he'll come on.
Yeah.
Unless he decides to give him a run out for the last 10 minutes if we're winning 2-0 or whatever.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I think we're going into a game not knowing what the side's going to be, because we did have a really good cup win in the weekday. But I reckon it could be unchanged from the Forest game.
Knowing Bielsa.
Yeah. But I'm quite confident heading into this one. Are you, Charles? What's your score prediction for this one?
They always get a goal when they're at their place. I'm thinking 2-1 Leeds.
2-1.
I went 2-1 Leeds as well.
Yeah, I'm going to go 3-1 Leeds United.
They'll score a really crappy corner
goal. To be fair, they've conceded 5 goals in 2 league games, so they do like to leak goals, so 3-1's probably not a bad shout.
Yeah, I reckon they will score, especially
just
at home.
Just if we can take our chances, Ed.
Yeah, we need to take our chances. But we scored 3 goals away at Bristol City on the opening day. I'm quite confident I'll go 3-1 to Leeds United. Well, that brings us to the end of episode 29 of the All Things Leeds podcast then. Thank you very much, as always, to Charles for joining me in the studio.
Cheers for having me on, mate.
And thank you very much to Ryan Wilson as well for joining us. Really do appreciate you coming in.
Thank you, Ed.
You spend a lot of time in the studio. You might as well just live here.
I might as well.
There's a sofa behind us.
There's a sofa. I can get my head down there, and the Leeds Trinity University should make me an honorary... give me an honorary degree or something.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you for coming in. If you enjoyed the podcast, then why not subscribe or follow? Give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts if you're listening on there. Give us a 5-star review. Share the podcast around. Make sure to follow All Things Leeds on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Search up All Things Leeds 1 on Twitter and Instagram. Search up All Things Leeds on Facebook. Subscribe to the YouTube channel as well if you have not already. Me and Charles will, of course, be back next week to have a look back at the Wigan Athletic game, and hopefully it is a Leeds United win. But for now, take care, and we'll see you later.